encouragement, and I know when he did it. Let's rise.
How did? Yeah, I got to get that out. Think about the tough times you've been through in the past. And at that moment, you didn't think you was going to make it, and you made it. All right, now, you know what?
Oh, we don't need my answer. Okay, Lessette.
No, I want your answer. Go on, say your answer, please.
See, you know what?
I'm trying to cut you out. I ain't trying to cut you out.
Oh,
So you know what we did to him? We went to doggy daycare. Yes. We took him to doggy daycare, so maybe they can teach him some manners that maybe we can't teach him. And just remember that, you know what? You are directing your life within yourself. So whatever you want your life to be, whatever you do today is going to decide your future for tomorrow. So make sure you direct it carefully, all right?
Come on, rise. Let's go higher, higher, higher.
When you enjoy something that you really enjoy, that you enjoy what you really enjoy, but you enjoy what you really do.
what did you just say? That messed me up.
Messed me up too.
I was waiting for the hair to go all over the place when you said that, but I think you got through it.
But
no, she did it anyway.
Howdy! Now I really try to hold that down a little bit because I know y'all pilgrims back there. Y'all say you're too loud. You're too loud. Well, I was trying to hold it down. I wouldn't blow your eardrums out. All right.
No, don't tell half the truth. What me and our guest was saying is we were sitting here talking and you just came out of nowhere with the how that it scared the crap out of us. That's all I'm saying. We weren't expecting it. It came out of the blue. When you just
Good morning.
Good morning,
Keone.
Good morning, Lessette. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing all right. I'm all right. I'm good. You know what? It's good to be here in the
You better be saying you're doing good. That you don't let that little necklace be entangled up. Start your day off bad.
Can y'all imagine that? You want to put on a necklace and all it's entangled up and all that other. Well, never mind. I mean, then you're praying like, God, please let me get it out. I'm gonna have to can it if I can't untangle it, but finally untangle it.
I can't relate. I'm a guy. I don't wear necklaces.
You don't have like bracelets or watches or stuff that get all tangled.
I wear a chain. I don't wear a necklace.
Okay, so y'all must only got one chain. What if you had a whole lot of them? You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. You know how it works. The genders tend to waste their money on different things.
For sure. Well,
we can't take it. We can't take it with us, right?
Right. You can't take
it. No. Well, you know they say that, but I told you, I'm gonna be very upset if I pass and go to heaven and I'm getting the tour. You know, like in the TV shows, you always get the tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get the tour of heaven, and I look up and I see these giant buildings on like these higher clouds, and I go, "What's that?" Oh, that's the people that brought their stuff with them. But they told us not to do that. And they said, no, we never said that. Y'all made that up.
We didn't get that memo.
The pharaohs were right. And all the pharaohs are up there living fat. And we're over here.
I would be pretty mad too, you know.
I'm in heaven and I'm still middle.
Don't worry. You're gonna have your mansion up there. Don't even worry about it. You know, if you believe you got your mansion up there.
As long
you got
as
your crib up there, you know. See what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about bringing no stuff.
See, look, you said it. I'm just telling you. Don't be in the tour line with me because I'm gonna look right at you, Lessette. Remember what you said on that episode?
I said it. It was me. I said it. But you know what? We got an awesome guest this morning. I want you guys. We have Robert. We have Robbie A. Swinson IV. But hey, I want you guys to go tell somebody. Go tell Ellie Mae and Jessie Faye and Drusella and Bob and
Al-
Bill. Go tell
Hey,
all of them to come. And
see, you know what I like about you? You try to be funny and you actually make sense with the episodes we have because we have a mortician slash undertaker on here because it's Halloween week. And the first three names you spit out are so old, he's probably dealt with those names already.
you probably have.
Don't tell Tyreek, huh?
Yeah,
Go tell Hattie Mae
yeah,
and Geraldine.
that's the one.
Oh
Tell
Lord.
all of them. Tell all of them to tune in this
Geraldine,
morning.
they're watching the morning news right now. They're not on the internet, so
Well,
you'll be
you
all
tell
right.
them they can always come back and watch the replay. They ain't no excuse. I ain't gonna give you no excuse today. You can come back and see the replay. Aight?
It's the
Aight.
spooky week. It's the spooky week. You know what I do hate about being an adult?
What's that?
Unless you have kids, certain holidays just start to lose their relevance as you get older.
That's true.
And it just makes you also think of how many things you stop enjoying in life because you're a quote unquote adult.
That's
And the rest of your life has to be, you know, serious. And if you have any type of joy in certain areas of life, you're immature. It's like, you get to do this one time. Have as much
right.
fun as you want, people.
I mean, when I was in my age, I'm back there in the young, I used to love Halloween, but now I used to spend it, buying children the candy and all the Halloweens for class and all stuff. I'm saving money now, so don't even worry about it. I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore. I spend it on me.
I know darn well you're not gonna take the one day a year that you so buy some candy for some kids and talk about you saving money.
I am. I'm saving my money. Look, I tell you what, I do it to the grandchildren. How about
Listen,
that?
it's just one day. We're not asking you to buy Halloween candy 364 days a year.
I know, but I used to really get carried away with that stuff. I remember I used to,
Oh, okay.
and for church, we had the Hallelujah festivals and stuff, and I had to make my Ken. I had to make him a little costume. You know what I'm saying? So I dressed him like a little Roman soldier. He had all the cleats and stuff on, and
Mm.
he had the little robe and the spear and all this stuff. Hey, we was number one in the contest. He won. Because I
Well,
took
lucky,
it all
lucky
out of the
you
way.
and him. I had to ignore church this week when I was growing up because I went to one of those churches where this was the most evil day in the history of the world and damnation. And I was like, oh, you're taking the fun out of living. So I just ignored church for this week when I was a kid.
Wow, that's interesting because at my church we had it banging. We were rocking. I mean, we had it going on. It was a festival.
Yeah, it's a holiday. It's like you're an adult. It's like grow up. Like just you can make anything mean what you want it to mean.
Hmm.
You have the power.
Don't let me start it because I be done blast your ears out.
Okay, never mind. Moving on. Yeah, I have so many questions. I have so many questions for our guest coming on. Some of them are serious and
Mhm.
educational questions, and you know me, some of them are downright silly. So we'll see.
Oh,
Because
let's
I
see.
believe he has a sense of humor too. Because you always get depicted in movies as the mortician just being this emotionless
Yeah,
person that talks in a
yeah,
monotone voice.
right.
You know, you always get that. So you excited to get him on here?
I'm very excited to get him on. Let's get him on.
Okay, without further ado, let's bring on.
Don't forget to do some live chatting, y'all. Okay.
Oh, I thought she was yelling at me. Let's bring on Robbie.
Good morning, Robbie. How are you?
Good morning. How are you all?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for coming on Rise with Lissette. We are really thrilled to have you this morning.
Don't
And
don't you know how to address a mortician slash undertaker? You always say Mister.
Mr. Robbie,
See, you listen, it's three people you always want to be nice to, right? The people who make your food,
true.
okay. You always want to be nice to the person doing your taxes. And you
Yeah.
always want to be nice to the person that you have to see when your days is over because they're responsible for making you look as good as they can make you look. So you want to
Wow.
be nice,
That's true.
nice and respectful.
That
or your
is
nose might be a little too big, your mouth might be a little crooked,
true.
and your makeup ain't gonna match.
Oh Lord. Now you know that's so. I've seen that too in some cases. But you know what? I've seen a lot of people, that has gone through their homegoing, and I've seen you really prepare them very well, Robbie. Even some of my family members as well. You did a very excellent job. You and Mr. Swinson, your father. Y'all did an excellent job. All your staff.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
our Swinson Funeral Services in Kinston, North Carolina. So I heard that you actually went to Shaw also for music. As I was reading your bio, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Now, what is that all about? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, in high school, I was a music fanatic and I thought I wanted to be a music teacher. So
And
I got offered a scholarship to Shaw University. I took it up, went there and did my 4 years. And after student teaching, I just felt like that wasn't my calling.
could it possibly have been because your father had a funeral home services?
No, I really was into music. And the funeral home was always in the back of my mind to do. I didn't think I was going to come back and get into it as soon as I did,
Hmm.
but I'm glad I did.
Why are you glad that you did?
Most people don't get a chance to work with their parents for a lengthy period of time and to come back and learn and get tutelage experience from him for the time that he's been here and the time that he's still here. That's inedible. I mean, you can't. That knowledge is hard to come by.
Now you saying some people don't get to work to their parents, like you just talk about I'm a kid and my dad does construction, or he
Right.
works at
Come
the
on now.
butcher shop, or he's a mechanic. Come on, now. Yes, some people don't get to work. Um, it's a job that a lot of people don't know the ins and out about a lot. It's one of those jobs that most of our depiction comes from TV shows, movies, and
Mhm.
things like that. Uh, what's your favorite mortician slash undertaker version? Because mine is always the old west undertaker mortician, because they always get the coolest lines. They always
Yeah.
are, dressed looking like death.
Um, with funeral service nowadays, it has become it's totally different when I first got into it. It was more compassionate service given. It was more focused on the families
Mhm.
and giving back to them and to the community. Now it's kind of like a showmanship. I mean, people
Yeah.
are putting on shows and
Uh-huh.
toting caskets out on their shoulders and doing all kinds of things that the traditional part of it has kind of slowly faded away.
Mhm. Are you thinking that's more because people are, because I know we started as a family stop. We don't even call it a funeral. People call it all types of things because people are starting to make it enjoying the life and celebrating the life that the person had, instead of mourning and sobbing and crying at the actual funeral. And then when they get home, then they do all the mourning and crying
Hmm.
and all of that. Do you think maybe that has something to do with it? They want to make it, you know, a fun celebration type thing.
Um, I, I think when you have a crowd of people attending a service and they're there for moral support because
Mhm.
after the services are over with, you're not going to see those people the next week or the week after that. They come,
Yeah.
pay their respects, and they leave. Family members go back to wherever they're coming from for job reasons or just whatever the case may be. So I think you should celebrate the family or the person or the deceased, but do it in a respectful, tasteful manner.
Mhm. What would be something that you would consider? You don't have, of course, you don't have to call people's name and point out specific things that people would recognize. But what's something that you would consider a disrespectful way to have a funeral?
In today's society, I don't think anything is disrespectful now. I mean, I've seen it all. So it just depends on the family's taste and choice and the funeral service provider that they choose.
No, I will give you one because I saw it on YouTube, but I couldn't find the clip, and I'm mad. Uh, it was a dude that owned a strip club.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
Oh no.
And the the male strippers toted the casket dressed as if they were actually at the strip club.
Oh no. Oh
And
no.
uh, and that was the tamest part of the entire video. Uh yeah.
I know I've seen one where the deceased was sitting up in the coffin, sitting up in the coffin. I'm saying like, hmm.
Well, see, that's not a bad one because I want to do one where, darn, I hope none of my family watches this episode. I want them to put a spring in my under me, so at a certain timer goes off, I just sit up during
Oh
service.
no, you better not.
So you can clear the church.
Oh my God.
Now, look, you can tell me, Robbie. Let's be serious here because you're human. Isn't there some times where you see some people falling over the casket, hollering in your head? You're like, Lord, lady, if you don't sit down, we don't pulled you off this casket 3 times. Now you're being dramatic.
Woo. Mm, 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 mm.
I've seen it all. Have you? And I mean, if you look at YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, I mean, you see all kinds of things going on now in today's society. I seen one where it was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. The guy was sitting in his living room, or it looked like his living room, in his recliner with his jersey on.
Wow.
Um, seen people in cars. I
Oh
mean,
my
you
God.
name it, you can see just about anything.
Uh-oh.
That's interesting.
Don't put him in the self-driving car. That's gonna be
I know that's not gonna work. You
that's
have
gonna
somebody
be
pull off the road and have a crash.
the compassion thing you said with me was the most connecting because when one of my grandmothers died when I was little, it was the first death I had to deal with as a child being old enough to understand it. I think I was like 9 or 10 or something. I can't remember, but we were at the funeral home. The morticians walking us around, telling us everything, and then for some reason, somebody always wants to take a picture. They want to take a picture of us next to the casket. I'm nervous because I'm like, my grandmother's next to me and she's dead. So I hit a lamp and knocked it over and it shattered.
Oh God, no,
And
you
of course,
didn't.
my mom started raising hell. Clumsy, what are you doing? You're breaking stuff. I gotta pay for that. And the mortician just calmly said, "Ma'am, stop talking." And he grabbed me and took me out of the room and calmed me down. Everybody was upset that the kid knocked over the lamp, all the family members, and the only person to make some sense out of it was the was the mortician.
Well, he probably was fuming on the inside. He just didn't show it.
It
That's awesome.
was like one of those $10 lamps from Dollar General. I think he was fine.
Robbie, this is good, but I want to ask you. I mean, I've been waiting to ask you this all night. Aren't you afraid to work with a the deceased? Aren't you? Even
My
as a
my mom?
child, was there no fear? None.
Yeah, it was fear. I recall when I was about 8, and we were down at the old funeral home on Blunt Street at 403, and my granddad was in there working on a client, and we were sitting there talking, and my grandfather turned around to the embalming machine and was mixing some chemicals, and when I turned back around, the guy was halfway sitting up on the table.
Oh my God. Mm.
And for an 8-year old to see something like that, I left out of the room as fast as I could leave. And he came and got me. He was like, if you don't come back in this room, you're not going to be able to do this type of work. And I went back that day because he told me to. But I stayed away from that room till I was about 10 and never went back in the embalming room again.
Now, why was it sitting halfway up?
Well, back in those days, we didn't have the technology and equipment like we have now. So normally the funeral home was the ambulance service back in those days. So you might have picked up somebody relatively that just passed and rigor mortis hadn't set in. So
Oh
you still
no.
had the last breath or body movement that you have before you pass, and that was his last breath.
Mm.
You know what? It's weird that you say that because we've seen some documentaries too on when people are brought to the mortician too early. What you just said, when somebody's brought there too fast, and there's been some cases where people were in a slight coma, but they were so far into the coma they had no life signs, or
Right.
it doesn't happen as much now, but I got to see those, and I looked up some more of them when you were when we knew you were going to have you as a guest. So that is something crazy. I think what's I had a friend who's a mortician, and he said it's not working with the dead that was always scary. He said even to this day, when I'm in there by myself, it's
Mhm.
when the dead body isn't there. Cause that's when the most time I feel somebody walked by me
Oh my
or
God.
a little sound happens that normally doesn't happen. He said, but you get so used to it. Um, that would be nerve wracking for me. I'm just sorry. It'd be nerve wracking.
It seemed like it would be, and I know to be absent from the flesh, from this body means to be present with the Lord. I know that, but it's something plays with your with your psyche, up in there. It's like a fear sometimes. I remember when um, I just think it's interesting because when the actual spirit leaves the body, that it's just like a shell. I mean, it's nothing there.
I
There's
mean,
no life there.
do you know?
Yeah, yeah.
You seen it?
I've seen. I was there when my mother passed, and
You
I
saw
saw her breath and her
you
body
saw the
just like.
breath left? Well, then come to my aunt's house and tell my uncle to go, cause he will not. You know, I always say this because you get in this battle with religious people, and it's like I get to the point where I'm like, whatever. Um, I was staying at my friend's house when I was little, and even when you were growing up, Robbie, you have them rooms in the house when you have company as kids. You're not allowed. You stay in the room, right? You either go outside or you stay in the room. So we were in his room, and they were Dominican. And all of a sudden, while I'm sitting on the bed, I look over to the closet, and this dark cloud rises up from the shoes and
Mm-hmm.
it slowly starts moving
Oh,
towards the bed. Now I'm thinking I'm the only one to see it, and by the time I turn to my friend, he grabs my hand and we run out of the room. So we're both seeing this. I'm not crazy.
Right.
So we go to his grandma and she's like, "What are you doing out of the room?" And we said, "There's something in the room." She walked in the room, and without us even telling her what it was and where it was, because by then it had moved towards the mirror, she walked in the room, turned to the left, pointed right at it, and said, "I told you not to bother them." And it dissipated.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? 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 I'm not even Catholic. I touched that forehead and that left shoulder and that right shoulder and touched my lips. And I left. And I remember like 2 days later, he's like, "Hey, you want to stay over?" And I'm like, "No."
mm-mm. No, thank you.
No,
So
thank you.
that
No,
that
thank
to
you.
me was like, okay, everybody ain't immediately floating on up top or going down bottom. Some of these jokers are still around. She knew exactly, and later on she said that was his uncle. I mean his her husband.
Wow.
Robin, have you ever experienced anything like that?
No, ma'am, I can't say I have.
If you had experienced that, what would you do? Would you still be in the business?
I think I would still be in the business. I just think it was a calling for me to come in following my grandfather and my father's footsteps. So I think I would still be here.
Because I know at your service, at your funeral services, y'all also do cremation as well, right?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
What does that entail doing cremations? What is that?
Cremation services, picking up the person from wherever they passed at.
Mhm.
We normally bring them back here to the funeral home to secure the documents that's going to be needed and the information for the death certificate and the cremation forms. And then we transport them to the crematory in Greenwood that we use. And once we get there, we take them off the stretcher, put them in a cardboard box, and put them in a retort after the retort has been warmed up to a certain temperature. And once we place them in the retort, the door closes and the cremation process starts then.
Wow. How?
Has that have you seen and because I know where I'm from, there's more people are getting cremated it seems than getting put um in a casket. I'm no longer married. I don't have kids. I already told my parents cremate me. I told her I don't want to be in a casket. No one's coming to that grave after my nieces and nephews. My great nephew will have no idea that I'm there. And then I don't want another casket on top of me or a Walmart. So I told her to go ahead. Have you noticed that more people are getting cremated um, than traditionally put in a casket?
Yeah, I think more people are doing cremation because of the cost. Right now,
Ooh.
cremation is still pretty relatively low compared to a
Mhm.
traditional funeral service.
Right.
So people are opting out and doing that to save money and just do things a little bit different.
What
Can
are the price ranges for cremation now?
Basic cremation at our Swinson Funeral Services $15.95, but it can go from $15.95 to some firms are charging $3,500.
Okay.
I could so explain that to me because people I've heard that before. It costs too much, to be a funeral. It's like you guys aren't money hungry. It's the cost of what you're doing, what your supplies and these
Mhm.
caskets that you're getting. They're charging you guys more money, so of course you've got to charge more money.
Yeah, every year we get an increase from the casket company, the vault company, um, the burial garment company. Anything that has anything to do with the funeral industry, it normally sees an increase every year. And then you have to look at your overhead, your rolling stocks. People want the new cars. So you're looking at 2025 cars.
Mhm.
They're expensive. So most people lease vehicles. And when you do a lease payment, you're looking at, if you got two a hearse and two limos, you're looking at about $3,500 a month for lease payments. And that's factored into your overhead costs of you operating the funeral home. So
Mm.
That's a lot, because it can be very expensive, but before I ask you the question I was going to ask you, I remember when we was going through the pandemic, and people just seemingly dying left and right. On the average, how many funerals did y'all normally have a week during that time?
COVID was an uptick for the industry. So here in Kinston, we were probably doing 3 cases a week.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be much more if he was in a bigger city. If he was in DC, New York, Miami, those more populated areas, it's probably a lot more insane than being in Palatka, Florida, or Kinston, or places like that. So I can imagine that because you have less in well, Kinston. I don't consider Kinston a rural area, but small areas you have smaller contact. You have less contact than if you're in a big major city. Can you imagine being in New York City or
Yeah, well,
someplace like
in
that?
New York, DC, I have friends all over in Florida that own funeral homes,
Mhm.
and they were extremely busy.
Yeah.
Most places didn't have refrigeration units.
Mm,
Now, the state of North Carolina requires that you have a refrigeration unit or access to it here in the state of North Carolina. So you had people storing and holding bodies because they were extremely busy during COVID.
mm, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. And that's only your funeral services. I mean, think about the other funeral services. That's just it amazed me. Because I did speak with someone a while back, and they said like in a month they probably had like 30 funerals. I mean, I said, oh my God, that's sad. So
Well, it's sad, but when I asked my friend, the Undertaker, my friend, how was it during COVID? He just turned and said, "Business is booming." That was his words with two thumbs up.
I
He said, "Listen, I'm not happy about death, but that's how I make my money."
for
you know,
sure.
at the end of the day, you know, that's how you make your money.
There always got to be some undertakers. Always. You
He
know
had a employee, Robbie, that he had to fire because they were drinking the embalming fluid.
what?
Yeah.
He got drunk off the embalming fluid.
I don't know if he got drunk. I didn't get too much of a conversation. He was just telling me that he had an employee that kept drinking the embalming fluid.
Well, I don't think he was getting drunk. He was messing up his internal
Yeah,
organs.
For sure.
yeah,
but,
that's what
And
but
he
yeah, I mean,
said.
in DC, that's where they started what they call Love Boat, where they was mixing embalming fluid, spraying it on marijuana, and that stuff is dangerous to
Ah,
smoke, inhale. Um, I wouldn't advise anybody to do that.
wow.
right. Yeah, getting a fix is not that important, but yeah, it's amazing that people do that. Um, it's crazy. But I did ask you a question earlier. You didn't get to answer it. I know you've seen a lot of TV shows. I know you've seen a lot of movies with the character of morticians. What's your favorite depiction? Can you recall? Because like I said, mine is the old westerns.
I'm trying to think of the one that was out recently. It was a own black owned family funeral home business. I can't remember the name of the show.
Oh, was it the one that was like a reality TV show
Yeah,
in Tennessee? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they're in Tennessee.
Keeping Up with the Bernards.
Yes. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good show. That was
yeah,
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I watched that show. That was Mama was a fool. That was definitely a good show. And I like how I feel like every black funeral home family has that kind of dynamic. You had the uncle who does all the driving, has all the knowledge, gives all the advice. Sometimes it's very subtle. He's not the boss, but he's not, he's an employee that he's the only one that gets to do whatever the heck he
mhm.
wants and not
yeah.
get in trouble.
Well, my
Then you
favorite.
got I'm sorry, then you
No,
got
go
the
ahead.
young ones who don't necessarily want to get into the business. That happens in any family business. You finally get the kids in the generation that go, I want to do something else. So then you have that battle because it's a family business and you want to move it on to your family, not sell it to somebody else. So it was a pretty good show with a pretty good dynamic. I liked it.
Yeah.
So,
My favorite one was Igor. No, master, no, no, master,
wait,
no. You
was
know,
that
Igor, huh?
was he a mortician?
Well, he kept Count Dracula. I mean, he
He
did the
was
best.
a valet.
Well, I thought he hauled him around. You
He
know,
hauled Well, you think Robbie just
Igor.
goes around town? You think Robbie does weekend at Bernie's?
No,
He takes his favorite dead person and goes to the movie with them. He dresses him up and put glasses
no,
on him.
no, I don't. But
What
I
is that?
like Igor. 'Cause Igor is so special. He did his job very well.
But he
Very.
wasn't a more you
I
you and
know.
I we gonna fight after this episode is over.
I
Just
know
know
where.
that.
I always thought he was
Hello,
a mortician.
We,
Hi.
we got you, Robbie. Robbie, which show did you
hello,
like better? Robbie, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
hello,
Hello. We can hear. Can you hear me yet?
hello.
We got you.
We got
Hello. He can't hear us.
oh
It's not his fault. He's probably got to do not disturb. We'll come back. We'll come back to him.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
oh. Hello.
Hey, sorry, bad disconnection here.
Oh,
That's
there we are. You can hear us now.
I still can hear you. Yes.
okay.
Okay.
What would you tell people as far as like their pre-need? Would you say to families that maybe they need to talk to their loved one?
We ain't get there yet. I'm sorry, Robbie. Me and Lissette, we fight
Excuse
all the time. We
excuse
fight
me.
all the time because she get to certain questions too early.
Well,
But go ahead. Since she asked the question, we'll
now go
get it.
ahead. We can do it later.
No, no, no. You already answered. I'm
No,
just messing. I'm
no,
just giving you a
no,
hard time.
no, no,
So we gonna fight in front of company. Is that what's gonna happen? Like I told you, I told Robbie already. Let's say you keep it up with me, and he gonna have one more customer. We're gonna have a new customer. Oh.
Go ahead, Kiona. We can do it later.
Um, when it comes to the emotion, I know you're doing a job and you've gotten yourself to a certain place where it's work, right? And you're into your work you're very passionate about making people look as best as they can,
Mhm.
especially when you're doing like an open casket versus a closed casket. But does anything still kind of tickle in? And it may be easier to deal with someone who's 88 and have lived a full life, but when you have to work on the children.
I know.
Children, classmates, family,
Mhm.
friends, those are always the hardest cases to deal with because you have an emotional connection
Mhm.
normally to those individuals. And see an innocent child, if they die from SIDS or
Mhm.
something horrific, um, that just never sits well with me.
Mhm.
And you just try to be professional and maintain your composure, but behind closed doors, we're crying, we're having emotional connections,
Wow.
and when you talk to the families and the friends,
We got you.
I don't know why my phone is doing this.
We got you. You probably got a phone call. It's probably not on Do Not Disturb. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. I hope he doesn't walk into one of those rooms by accident while he's on here.
You just as crazy.
It was just as crazy. I'm for real. You might walk by and you see one of those bodies sitting up. You know how I'm gonna be. Not
I'm
crazy.
sorry for the disconnect, but my phone here at the office is ringing and it's tied to
We understand.
I got you.
We know that you're
my cell phone.
Hey, we know death never sleeps. We got it.
we
Trust me.
understand. Work situation, so anything can
Hello?
happen. Uh-huh. We're right here.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
I feel like we're doing a cell phone commercial.
Can you guys hear me?
We
Yeah.
can hear you. Everyone can hear you.
You was talking about,
Hello?
that's yes. We're right here.
I'll just wait till you can hear us again. But the funny thing that I mean, not the funny thing. I don't know how. I know he can do it, but I can't imagine doing a kid or a baby
I
or all
know.
that.
I
I mean,
just
it's just yeah,
That's just hard, you always would think that you're gonna die before your children, you're gonna go before them and not
right.
children go before you.
Yeah.
That's
There was a story, and everybody missed it. It was in one of the smaller towns because we know technology helps in these situations where a lady died. She died.
mhm.
She had an autopsy.
Oh
She
wow.
went to the funeral home,
Mhm.
and while the mortician was working on her, he's
Mhm.
the only real person that realized that there was something in her belly,
Oh my God, are
and it
you
was another
serious?
person, and no one knew that.
No
Not the
one
husband,
knew.
I'm on
not
an
the
interview.
hospital, not the
Hold on one second.
doctor doing the autopsy. Nobody realized it.
How is that?
It
That's
just, I mean,
terrible.
it's just things that happen. Mhm.
I mean, that's touching. That she was actually she was with child. That's terrible.
Yeah, those are what's so it's like you. I'm pretty sure he's got um some stories
I'm
there.
sure.
Robbie, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I was just telling Lessette a story because we were talking about wild stories, and it was in one of a smaller town. This was not like 30 years ago. It was literally about 7 years ago, where a woman had died, and she died, had an
Yes.
autopsy, uh, and as the mortician's working on her, he's the first one to discover that there's somebody living inside her, not living anymore, but there was someone inside her belly. Like everyone missed it. She never told anybody she was pregnant. I don't think she knew. The husband didn't know. The hospital didn't know. The doctor doing the autopsy didn't discover it, but the mortician discovered it. Do you have any strange stories, a story, whether it's funny or strange, that you could go ahead and tell us?
Never heard of a story like that. It would be hard to believe that with a medical examiner getting involved and not
Mhm.
finding out that she was pregnant
I
with
know.
a child.
You got to watch more Forensic Files then. See it all the time on there.
The strangest case I can probably remember, we had a case, a gentleman lived out in the county, had a lot of cats and dogs, and he died in the house, and the cats and dogs hadn't eaten for a while, and they
Oh
started
no.
eating on
Yeah, that'll
him.
happen.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
How do you restore uh, bodies that are mutilated? How do you? What's your technique for restoring people like
He
that?
finds somebody that looks like them, hits them over the head, and replaces them.
You're just as crazy.
We do a lot of wax, restorative art. That's a class you take when you go to mortuary school.
Mhm.
So you use wax and you try to get the close as possible to a likeness feature of the individual.
Wow. So you got to be an artist.
Well, no, it's amazing. And tell me if I'm wrong, Robbie. You guys are everything. You're stylists, you're barbers, you're makeup artists. You learn how to do so much.
A jack of all trade, master of none.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I
So you
kind of
actually
stopped.
sculpture it. You sculptured what you.
Yeah, when you're in school, they take a ruler, so your face is broken down into measurements. So you have to know the measurements of your eye, your ear, your nose, your chin. So you go off of making your features off of those measurements.
Wow. That's amazing. So that's how y'all been doing it.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a gift. Mm.
Yeah, I stopped going to. Now I won't say I stopped going to funerals. I stopped going to funerals for people who were no good. Because as I got started growing up, I was like, why am I at this funeral for this bum? This piece of you know what, and everybody in here praising him like they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like he was such a good son, a loving father. I'm like, he's a drug dealer. He sold crack. I'm like, what are we doing in here? So when I knew somebody, you know, didn't live uh, the greatest of lives, I'm like, I'm not going to this funeral and sit here and listen to this nonsense. To me, I'm not saying it's nonsense. There's still somebody's father and son and all that, but I'm like, I couldn't do it.
This is interesting because I've been to some funerals and it's like there's like people are multifaceted, so
Mhm.
just like you say, you know him from one side and but he has other they have other sides to them, so like okay, I'm
Oh,
this way, I'm that way. So they have different faces to different people. And
I,
so that's
I ain't.
amazing.
I'm not, look, I ain't talking about the face to me was he was a football player, and the face to somebody else he worked at a bank. I'm talking about he sold crack and shot people. That kind of outweighs that he took his daughter to get a pony on her birthday. Sorry. Am I wrong, Robbie? Am I wrong for
Woo!
that? Am I wrong for that?
I plead the fifth.
May the life you live speak for you.
Listen, Robbie's like, you messing with my bottom line now. Drug dealers got to be buried too. Shut the heck up.
It's-
Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I was happy to have you on. Number one, it's not like we know a million morticians. I only know one, and I just happened to the guy that I mentioned back in Miami, and he has the biggest sense of humor ever in the world. And one of those, what do you call it? It's not the funeral. It's when you come in and talk to you at first, get the preliminaries. What is it called or whatever?
Arrangement conference.
Get the arrangement conference, and it was a friend of ours who sold drugs, and one of the guys that was there was really, really rude and pompous. And the mortician guy, who's now became my friend, he walked over to him and he just took a measurement. And he said, "What you doing?" He said, "Well, the way you acting, you next. So let me go ahead and get you set up." I just died.
that's funny. Oh my God, that was
I was
cool.
like, being a mortician with a sense of humor has to be such a weird place.
That sounds like the thing to have done. He's cruising right that way.
Oh
It's just
man.
amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing to me how you can do your job and do it so well and have a sense of humor and you know um, everybody's got something to do. Everybody's got a purpose and got a passion. That's just powerful.
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it. They have to
Have
do it.
Have you seen um these crazy, ridiculous coffins people get for I don't know what reason? I seen them before, but since we were having you, I started looking on the internet trying to find them and stuff. They have coffins. There's solid gold coffins. There's coffins to where it will play TV on loop, their favorite TV show, and the battery runs out in like a year.
Oh my
And
God.
people buy these things, air air conditioned coffins. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm.
My
The
grandfather used
gold
to say,
casket that you're
yeah.
referring to is what we
Mhm.
call the Promethean. The
Oh,
next step under that is what they call the Millennium. Those caskets, I think Michael Jackson, Aretha
uh,
Franklin, those guys were in those type of caskets. So, but when you look at stuff like that, superstars or actors or people that have a lot of money or insured their loved ones pretty nicely, a $250,000 insurance policy and
Wow.
spending 30,000
Mm.
on a funeral,
Mm.
that doesn't bother them.
that's just crazy. And then you're dealing with people who, Lissette asked the question earlier.
Mhm.
It again, it's so hard because you're trying to do a job and separate your feelings and empathy. But I know you've had to deal with people where the person didn't leave any insurance and they can't afford the funeral. And then they always, one of the things my mortician friend used to say, and they come in there and they're like, "What can you do for me?" And he said it already puts him in a
Wow.
bad position because it's like, well, I've got to make a living, but you want this funeral for
Mm. Mm-mm.
$3,000 less than what it's going to cost, and
Wow.
how is it dealing with that area of the business?
Mm.
It's tough. We plan for everything in life except for death.
Mhm.
Isn't that
We
something?
plan for weddings, retirements, vacations, everything, and we just put death at the back of the bus.
Nobody want to talk about it.
And then you have some people say, well, the state's going to pay for it and do this and that, and the state does not.
Mm-mm.
No, though they listen to people who have bad information and think they know everything. I know the I can get taken care of because I'm a veteran, but you know, I have stuff in place. Some of us don't talk about it though, Robin, because if some people knew what they got, if we no longer here, we wouldn't be here no more. So that's the reason why some of us don't talk about it. Some of us got to keep it to ourselves. But the importance of, I mean, that's just uh crazy. And I know you've had to deal with. I've seen families literally fighting at the what did you call it again? The arrangements.
Arrangement conference.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen families already fighting
Oh yeah.
over things that are left over at the arrangement. Like we haven't even had the funeral yet.
That's true.
What was that saying? Can you let them get in the ground first, or something like that?
But
I've,
even
I've experienced that
Hold
as
on.
well.
even with the veterans, isn't it true that they only pay for funerals that are that was service related? Now I'm talking
No,
now.
no,
Well, normally, if you're in the military and you die in the military and you're service connected, yeah, Uncle Sam takes care of that. But if you're out, retired, they give you a free space,
Hmm.
a grave space, a vault, and a headstone. They
Hmm.
don't pay for the casket or
right,
professional services of the
right,
funeral home.
That's true.
right. Yeah.
True.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna play a little game called Stump the Mortician. You ready? Stump the Mortician. You ready, Robbie?
Yeah,
All right. I'm gonna softball them in here in the beginning. What gas is primarily responsible for the bloating of a decomposing body?
tissue gas.
Let's see. Tissue gas. Lissette, you know the answer?
No, I know about some gas, but ain't that kind of gas. I'll tell you
Does
that.
tissue gas turn into methane?
Yeah,
That would be correct. That's another way of saying methane. That's great. Do you know who was the first president to be embalmed?
I do not.
Abraham Lincoln.
Lissette got one. Oh, you better not let her beat you, Robbie. Robbie, you better not let her beat you. So, all right, Lissette's got one. She's turning it into a competition. Okay, we'll we'll do that. What part of the human body is most resistant to decomposition? Lissette,
Um,
what
it would
part of
be
your body?
thoracic area, the stomach area.
That's the part of your body you picked. That's the most resistant to decomposition.
Hmm.
I've never seen a grave robber go, let me break into this grave and steal their thoracic, 4 months later. This is an easy one, and I'm not even a mortician. I'm gonna give you a hint, Lisette. Think of a grave robber.
Okay.
Besides, back in the day, if I give you too much of a hint, you're gonna get the answer.
Now go ahead. Go
Now,
ahead.
I'm gonna let Robbie tell the answer, and then because I know he knows it, or did we stomp him?
You stomped me.
What do grave robbers steal besides possessions? What's the thing they used to steal from the
The
body?
eyes.
No, they didn't
Organs.
steal the eyes. If you go rob a grave and the person's been dead for 2 years, besides a ring or any jewelry he might have on, what's the other thing they used to steal?
Their their hair.
It's made of enamel.
Teeth.
Yes, they
What?
used to steal the teeth.
Come on.
Yes, they used to steal the teeth. They used to steal teeth and sell them to dentists, and dentists would put that in place of other people's teeth. And a lot of people did have gold teeth back then. Uh, so they would steal the teeth.
That's a shame before the Lord.
And this is how we're gonna tell what type of mortician you are. What TV show was better, The Munsters or The Addams Family?
I would say the monsters.
I like the Adams family.
The poll says most morticians say The Addams Family.
I love Morticia.
But that's not a
Morticia.
way to that wasn't a stumpy one. That was just a usual one I threw in there. All right. True or false? A person's fingernails and hair continue to grow after death. Lissette.
True.
Mr. Robin.
True.
That is crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
That your hair keeps growing. I'm bald, and when I die is when I'm finally gonna have a full head of hair. I think that's unfair and unfortunate. And unfortunate. All right, here's the one. Here's the big one. Where did it go? I wanted to ask you this one. Before embalming fluid, what fluid was used?
Spices and herbs.
Spices and herbs. Lisette, what do you think it was?
um,
Let me ask it like this. Before embalming fluid became standard, what everyday household ingredient was often used for temporary preservation? This is not a household item now, um, but you're not going to get it, Lisette. But yes, spices and herbs.
fentanyl.
Okay, okay, go ahead. Go
Fentanyl.
ahead. Fentanyl. Oh my God. No, it's not fentanyl. But Mr. Robbie got part of it. It was salt was commonly used, but arsenic was used before embalming fluid, which is crazy. Clarence did chime in with teeth. He was trying to help you out. He should have just yelled it from the back room. He should have just yelled that from the back room.
Yeah.
So, um, question that I wanted to ask you. Thank you for playing my little silly game with me. Mr. Robbie, I asked you all the real deep ones I want to ask, dealing with kids, family members, tragedies. Like, I couldn't imagine being a funeral home in the town where there's like those mass shootings at a school.
Oh my
Where
God.
you gotta deal with all of those kids at one time. It's one thing to have one child to be brought in to work on, but it's another thing when you're being brought 10 to 12
Mm.
at one time, which is kind of crazy. It's a job like Clarence has said and Lessette has said, it's a job. Somebody's got to do it, and most of us don't have the stomach to do it. So commend you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna make sure. So when it's my turn, this is what I want. Okay. No, how far out? When is it too early to start planning these type of things? Is it a certain age, or let's say if I because I should be waiting until I have a terminal illness or something like that. Is there an age? Like what's the proper time to start thinking about these things?
I would always say the earlier the better. And like I say, you have normally have funeral homes that have a wish list, or these are my final um, thoughts of how I want to be taken care of. Booklet pamphlet that we have, and you can come out and pick them up free, fill it out. We normally keep a copy, and you take a copy home and put it in a safe place. So people won't be guessing what you wanted to do or how you wanted your services to be carried out.
Mhm. And then you don't have like Lissette and her sisters fighting over what suit daddy's supposed to be wearing. You know
And
these
you can
things happen,
also
right?
go ahead. You
No,
can
I'm
also
saying,
say,
Miss Robbie, these things happen, right? You see them arguing over, I don't like the suit. I don't like the way his hair look. I don't like this. And it's like, well,
All the time.
this is what was requested.
because I remember we did that for our mother. We did like a pre need like in advance. You can actually go in and pick out your coffin and all these other things and how you want it and what you want to wear and all this that and your flower arrangements and stuff. And then you can actually pay on it if you don't have insurance. You can actually pay on it. So that's another way to do it as well. I
Okay.
told my husband, I said, look, I said, now let me be an hour late for my funeral, so just keep up with the pace.
Nah, let's say you wrong for that. You know he going first with the amount that you nag him. Um, so you know, uh, Mr. Robbie, you in your profession, you always talk about respect level. The respect that's one of the biggest things you have is the respect. What do you think when you see the stories where they find out, like in certain graveyards, where they've actually put people on top of people?
Mm,
Um,
mm, mm, mm.
what do you think when you hear stuff like that?
That's really disheartening. You hate to hear stuff like that in the industry. Um, Most of the time, in cases like that, it's privately owned cemeteries where the state doesn't have any regulation over
Mm.
them, and it's unfortunate for families to have to go through that.
Yeah,
It
let's
is.
how that normally happens is, and this is what I was telling my mom about. I don't on a grave. They'll notice that ain't nobody been to this grave in like 20 years.
That's true.
Maybe everybody's died off or nobody cares anymore, and they go sell sell that spot somebody else. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's just like you said, it's disheartening and it's crazy. You think someone's been, what do they call it, laid to rest, and that's it.
Mm.
But um,
But
that
is that sometimes when they do have mass graves, like during pandemics and things like that, they do have mass graves.
no,
I know
no, no,
they
no.
did that in
We
the past.
don't. That's not a thing that we do here in the United States. We
Not
don't
in the
do
U.S.
mass
now.
graves.
Okay,
Only
that's
if
good.
you ever find somebody have a mass grave, it's in somebody's backyard and they're a serial killer. It's not a thing that's done in the United States.
But that's good. That's
Now, it's the ones I always feel sad is when I see the unmarked graves
oh wow.
or the graves of people that they never were able to identify who they were. That always makes me sad because I feel like that person's not at rest. I always
Yes,
Right.
feel
that's
because
pitiful.
yeah, those always
Hmm.
kind of get me.
Mm, 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 mm. John Doe. Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
those are hard. One of the things again, because again, I've only known one mortician. He said the saddest deaths that I have to deal with is the ones where I'm just working on a body and there's no one that ever comes by that has
Oh
anything to
Lord.
say because no one knows who it is, or it's a person that has no friends or family. He said
Mm.
those are the sad ones to me. You know,
That is sad. That's sad. Whew. Because everybody deserves, to be put away with respect and
what were you
dignity.
gonna say, Mr. Robbie?
Yeah, we run into that not a lot, but we do run into it.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
So everything still hits a little different. You're not void of emotion. You just know how to control your emotion when you're working on that stuff, right?
Yeah, and you have to be able to contain your emotions.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this. This is what I want you to do, Mr. Robbie. If I go and y'all still here, and I'm gonna try to use your services
Watch
to
it now. Watch it.
and when, and when Lissette grab like all the comedians say, when Lissette grabs the casket and say, "Lord, take me with him," I want you to push her in there. Give her a little push her on.
Oh,
I bet she let go of that casket real quick.
for sure. Go on, Keone, go.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
I got to do a really neat thing a couple years ago because just like I'm streaming now, I saw on Facebook one of my soldiers that I had died, and
Mm.
none of I couldn't go, and none of most
Jeez.
of the fellow soldiers couldn't go. So I live streamed the funeral for her on an unlisted link. She had to give the link out. So I was so happy that I was able to do that. I've never live streamed a funeral before. That was the first and only one that I did, but it was the joy that she had, that all the people around the country that were friends of his that couldn't fly and go to that funeral on such short notice, they were able to watch. So that was a pretty cool thing.
Well, I would say that was one good thing with COVID, that we had to venture out of our normal routine to come up with ways to help people celebrate the lives of those that passed during COVID. And live streaming really took off.
I know that my brother's funeral was live streamed as well, so I really appreciated that.
Let me guess, you sung at the funeral.
Of course. What
She ain't gonna pass up a look. I mean, she's such. You know what? She's such a diva, and she don't know it, Robbie. I can tell you exactly how it happened. They kept talking about him, because it's his funeral, and she's like, all right, my turn." She went out there.
No, I sang one of his songs that he loved, by the way.
I
His
know,
last song.
I know, I know you did. I know you did. Was it by Trick Daddy?
No,
Okay.
it was by me.
Does she know who Trick Daddy is?
No, I do not. It just don't sound. It don't sound too good. Tell you that.
Robbie said, "Does she know who Trick Daddy is?" If she did, she's not going to admit it.
She's a lady of the cloth.
She's
Exactly.
look that. Hey,
Get it
listen.
right. Get it straight.
Okay.
Get it straight.
Uh, you had to you've held service of people of many different religious backgrounds as well, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. So I just want to tell everybody again where your business is located. Any contact information, we'll make sure we put it in the description as well. And I wanted to get that out because some people think that when they're dealing with funeral homes, it's only like only Christians are welcome here, but that's not true.
We serve all nationalities, all creeds, all walks of life.
And can I ask you this quick question, Robbie?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you're not going to go get back in city councilman again? You laying it aside?
I'm stepping away from politics for a little while.
Okay,
You picked the appropriate time.
okay.
Yeah, it was time for a break.
I hear that. We really appreciate you. I appreciate you coming. Please tell your father So you're the fourth. Is there a fifth somewhere?
There is.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And tell your lovely wife and your children. We really appreciate hello and thank you for coming. Keone and I, we really had a great time, interviewing you today. And look, you guys out there, just remember that just like Mr. Robbie said, there's always time to pre-need and pre-plan for your last moments on this earth. So how you want to be put away. So don't wait with your trifling self. Don't wait till the last moment to do those things. Go ahead on and do it ahead of time. Make it easy on Mr. Robbie and your family. All right. And you be blessed and have a great day. All right.
Have a great
Thank you
day.
guys. Enjoyed it.